You are a warrior. And warriors have to learn to choose the correct battles. Because when that warrior energy isn't pointed in the right direction or aimed at your heart's ideal, it comes out in your environment. It comes out at the people you love. It comes out at work. And one of the ways it comes out, it picks unnecessary battles, like you're boxing the wind. So a lot of our warrior energy gets pent up, and it cycles and cycles and cycles and cycles, and it builds because you do have a big heart and you do have a lot to offer, especially if you're a creative, especially if you're inspirational, especially if you're a go-getter, especially if you want to start businesses and projects, especially if you love engaging people. You got a lot of energy, and that energy comes in and moves in and out of you, and it gets stuck. And when we are not in tune with our highest self, and we are not in tune with our purpose, and we're not pointing that energy at the correct battle, at the correct outcome, it becomes toxic, it becomes frantic, it becomes nervous, it becomes judgmental. And we pick petty fights that don't really matter. There's my kids coming in. We pick battles that don't really matter. The real battle's here. So those of us who are warriors, when we fight the people and the reality outside of us, that's when our energy is weak. But when we fight ourselves, when we tame the beast inside, when we fight our own dragon, the book of Proverbs says, I hesitate quoting scripture sometimes because I don't want to cut anybody off. But Solomon, one of the wise people, one of the wise sages and kings of old, he said, greater a patient man than a warrior, one who can tame or who can take himself than who can take a city. In Solomon's eyes, and one of the wisest people in all time, so they say. Coming from the words of a very wise, wealthy, powerful man that said he had lived and he had thousands of wives and he had kingdoms, and it said that he had put his heart to experience everything under the sun. So he was a learner, and he had the resources and he had the people to do it, and he traveled the world. And after all he found, he said, I see people go overthrow villages and kingdoms, and there's a weakness in that. There's a weakness in taking your energy and conquering something outside of yourself. It's almost like Solomon was saying, that's easy to do. It takes greater strength to point that energy inward at yourself. And so instead of winning one more argument, maybe you summon up the courage to give one more apology. Maybe instead of that unnecessary comment, maybe instead of picking small fights and meaningless fights because our energy needs to go somewhere, and maybe instead of sending pessimism or perfectionism or possible harsh criticism on our kids or on our family members or on our friends, maybe we take that energy and we go, what projects am I not owning? What steps in my business, in my life, am I not taking? What things do I know I need to do? So maybe instead of changing that other person, maybe you start the diet. Maybe instead of changing that other family member, you start getting better sleep. Maybe instead of telling somebody else to read a certain book, you start journaling, you read a book. Maybe instead of trying to tell someone what to do, you enroll in therapy. Warriors don't like therapy because we're used to doing it all on our own. Yeah. Whoever this is for, I hope it connects to you. Fellow warriors, let's fight the real fight. Peace out.